What is it about being a small content creator where you'll get on a run, you sort of just get over it?
Don't stay, alone.
If it's having impacts on you on a much deeper level that you are feeling along the lines of depression over it, there's people out there too that you can talk to.
It's been a tough discussion. Hello and welcome to Minecraft Lab, where we explore, experiment, and theorize about all things Minecraft. I am Minor Thoughts, and with me is the rumored secret wood in 1.21. Do you know what it is? The Troj.
Troj's wood in 121. What color would it be?
I don't know. There is a rumored wood in 1.21. There's been some leaks. We don't know if it's Roger Badgerman. Could be Roger Badgerman under a different name, but he's been shut down. This new guy's been shut down as well. So
interesting.
There are some things I've been seeing out there, and one I'm excited about is they showed a hopper in a crafting table.
Automatic crafting.
So a lot of people are thinking automatic crafting. That would be cool.
At what point do we actually get it to the point where we're going, play the game for us, Minecraft? Like with mods now, you can actually have the game play itself for you, and which is another topic for another day. But some of these mods these days, the art of building and the art of doing stuff is all getting taken away. Automatic crafting, do we really need that?
I don't know. When these things started coming out and I was seeing these things, I thought, well, you know what? Nimbaum works for Mojang. He used to be a SciCraft member, and he's one of the developers of the carpet mod. Auto crafting is part of that mod, so I don't know. There might be some legitimacy to these leaks. We'll see.
We will definitely see. Still early days, but I think it's fair to say we will get more wood, because wood has been a new thing since 1.16. Basically, we got new woods almost not every update, but we've gone from 6 wood to lots of wood.
Yeah.
More wood the better, I reckon.
So the rumored wood is spice wood. That spice wood's being thrown around as the rumor. So I don't know what that means. Spice wood.
I don't know what to do with that.
Here's my theory. And you know how Waddles is. He puts out all kinds of his theories. But my theory on this is, okay, we talked about the Badlands and the deserts possibly getting further updates. One thing that's found in the deserts is sagebrush, and sage is a spice.
Interesting. Maybe we were onto something again, maybe with the whole Badlands update.
I don't know. Let's see. When I see these leaks, we've got Minecraft Live coming up, and start seeing snapshots and things of that nature. They start hyping it. That gets me motivated to play more Minecraft, and that's why we're here today, to talk about motivation. Yeah, I was trying to segue into this discussion. Yeah. Oh, well, I try.
Yeah, good job. But it's probably a timely discussion, because it's actually something I'm struggling with personally at the moment. It's a bit of motivation on the old content front.
Why do you think you have a lack of motivation? I mean, is it life, work, run out of ideas, or?
Ideas is never a problem for me. And I know we talked about this when we did our small content creator burnout one. We sort of touched on motivation a little bit. I know, we might rehash a little bit here, but what is it about being a small content creator where you'll get on a run, you sort of just get over it to an extent? I don't know if that's the right wording or not. I went through, a period there of sickness, being work, like just smash with work, which impacts your motivation to do things. But you look at sometimes a video, you work on a video, you put a video out, and it flies, and you're picking up subs, and you're picking up views, and you're getting your hours up, and all of a sudden the algorithm kills it. You don't understand why. Well, I understand why. According to the algorithm, it's not a good video. But that demotivates to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, you take a break off streaming and you come back to streaming and you're rusty and it just doesn't feel impactful. Like it doesn't have the same vibe.
Mhm.
It can be tough to get your motivation back
Oh, yeah.
as a small content creator. Like my motivation to play Minecraft is still strong by a mile. You know, I went away for this week at time of recording. I went away for an interstate work trip and I can't have Minecraft on my work laptop. It won't handle it. So, and I'm not taking 2 laptops. That's just ridiculous. And the motivation to play the game is there and design things. And I've got plenty of ideas, as you would know. I've got no lack of shortage of ideas of things, but it's all content wise at the moment for me is motivation to make the content. Like I've got enough footage there from the pyramid build that I made to make a video. I've got a hardcore recording that's basically set, cut and ready to edit. It's cut from 3 hours stream down to like 30 minutes worth of footage. It's ready to go. It's not a hard thing to do that part. I just can't bring myself to do it, and I don't know why. It's strange.
I run into that sometimes too. And I've said this before that for me, I see things, new things coming out, people talking about things, talking to different content creators, talking to different podcasters, and really feeling the motivation to do something, to do anything. Where I work, we're in the busiest time of the year, and and I don't know if you're still on that time of year with your work, but I am just smashed when I get home. I guess that killed my motivation. The motivation is still there, but when you sit down to the computer to whether it's play or edit or anything, it's just, you're like, I'm so tired. I just can't bring myself to open up the app or Minecraft or anything because I just want to sleep and get through this week. and but the motivation's still there. It's still like right at the forefront. It's just, life basically wants to kill that.
Yes, I want to do it. I want to do it. Like every Friday afternoon, I sit down, I write out my list of what I want to achieve with Minecraft / content creation for the weekend and things I have to do, like my tasks, like set up the socials for Interrealms, set up my weekly shorts and my polls that I do on the channel that go out. And then I list, what videos I want to work on. I get the first couple of things done right and I want to do it. But as you said, it's getting from the want to the do. Mm-hmm. At the moment is really hard. And you're talking about a busy period with life and work at the moment. This year has been a different year than I've had. Like it has not stopped. Like for us for my business, it's usually at New Year and then probably just after Easter are busy and then it goes quiet till financial year time. So June, July, then it goes quiet again. And then September, October, it picks up and then it dies again. This hasn't. It's just been flat strap, which is good for business. But you're right, like this week, so I got home, I was on an early flight out on Monday, worked almost round the clock while I was away, got back into my hometown on Thursday afternoon, got straight off the plane, went straight to my daughter's school for a colour run where they throw paint at you and all that. Did that, went home, had a shower, went to the football, okay, a little bit of relaxation, but you're still tired, you get home late from that. Up for Friday work the next day. By the time I got home from Friday afternoon for work, knowing I had to stream Friday night, I wanted to. I still had the desire to, but when it came up to that time I had to go down and get ready, it's like, maybe I'll miss it again tonight. I made myself do it, which is a good thing because I've started the routine again. But the motivation, I don't even know whether motivation is the right word. I'm motivated to do it, but it's enacting it is the tough bit. Does that make sense?
Right. It does. This podcast, us as content creators, we are part-time. We have full-time jobs outside of content creation. So this is just something that we do when we have the time. And I was thinking that if this became a full-time thing, it would, the mindset would have to be the same because we would have to be constantly thinking, okay, I need to come up with the next thing, the next podcast, find the motivation, because it'd be nothing but content. And I've been listening. I listened to a YouTuber that I recently found called Mog Swamp, and he has been in the same superflat world for 10 years. And throughout the years, he's gone through times of of trying to stay motivated, trying to keep things going, because he's starting from a basic flat world, and he wants to go another 10 years. And he said the number one thing that people ask him about is how do you stay motivated? I mean, you're on the same world for 10 years and you expect to go 20 more years in the same world. How do you keep yourself motivated? And he said is to find that spark, find that thing that will spark that motivation. So I started thinking about, what things that can spark us to where maybe that will get us to push past, the tiredness. And one of the things I thought there was a definite spark was this live stream weekend that we had, this community event that we had for Interrealms. It was our third birthday. You had a humongous bill and you were trying to get it done before this live stream weekend. And it was that spark of you saying, okay, Miner, I could use your help on frog lights, and other people were there. They were motivated. They were sparked to come together and get the things you needed to get this build done. And I think those types of things, those community events, even though you're not putting out content, you're helping someone else. That sparks motivation.
You're right. And yes, having to have that build finished by that particular point of time, it definitely motivated it to get it done. The content side, though, is that's where my motivation problem is. It's not to get on and do the build. And, and I want to thank all those people that helped me put all that 250,000 blocks together. Awesome. I think someone joked that they watched 4 or 5 different streams from Interrealms in that week, and every single one of them was doing something for Troj. It was like either mining something or collecting or putting it together or whatever. But the build was 4,000 lava buckets. So yeah, things like that definitely bring people together, as you said. But my problem isn't that. My problem, and I've seen this multiple times over the 3 years of Interrealms, and I know I'm not the Lone Ranger in it. It's how do you get yourself up to do it? And recently someone, I won't mention specifically who from Interrealms, I was having a conversation with, because I don't know whether they would want this put out or not. Yeah, I just reached out to this person and said, look, is there anything I can do to help you or anything like that? And it was sort of the same thing, that the response that sort of came back was, well, no, not really, unless you know how to motivate to get over that hump. And my advice in that to this person, which I try to listen to myself, is what we said when we did the burnout one, which is you've just got to show up. You've got to force yourself to do that. But that's a lot easier said than done. And I know you're told not to compare yourself to other creators because you are you and you're not supposed to compare. We're all human. So it's natural that we're going to do that, even though we're told not to. You don't look at view counts. You don't compare yourself to others. And you look at people that have been going for 6 months and they're tracking down on their silver play button. It doesn't demotivate, but it certainly plays on your head is, why has mine not picked up? You can't help but compare yourself. It's a normal human thing that you will do, that your brain plays on you. Or you might do a few streams and, you get 3 people show up. And then you get into that mindset of, okay, no one's coming. What's the point? Or someone else reached out to me for advice saying, someone's made a comment about one of their particular characteristics. And it's got them thinking, well, am I shot in the foot before I start because of something literally about me? To which my response was, well, just ignore that. You be you. And if they don't like you for you, someone else will come along that does. Don't worry about it. Just do it for fun. And I guess that's something that was said to me as well. Like after last night's stream, I messaged someone saying, I feel like I've lost it. I've lost, I don't know what. It didn't feel like a good stream. I know I messaged you that as well. But this other person said, why do you enjoy streaming? It's like, well, yeah, I don't mind it. And it's like, we'll just do it for the fun of it and see what happens. And that was actually messaged to me just before we started recording. And it's like, well, fair enough. Maybe that is a secret. Just do it because you enjoy it and see what happens. Try and remember to go back to that.
Yeah.
You can't help but sit there and go, dang it. I put in a lot of effort to these videos and the algorithm kills it at 4,000 views, but it's been pumping and you see the subs going up through the roof and the algorithm kills it. And other people's videos, the algorithm keeps pushing it to 100, 2,000, a million views. And it's like, why? Why? Or, you're streaming and people that used to come all the time don't come anymore, but they're still active elsewhere. And it's like, well, have I lost the being entertaining? Have I lost it? What have I done wrong? You can't help but think because you're human.
Yeah.
And it plays on your mind the whole lot. And as you said, we're not full time at this, so you can't. It's hard to keep that going. And I think a lot of small content creators will go through it. And I know on Interims we do on a constant rotational basis. We all have these crises in our minds of how do we get the going. And it's good to see in the past week or so, a lot of the Interims have got back into that streaming thing and seem to have got back on the horse, so to speak. And hopefully that continues. I guess it's just at the moment I'm in that hole of that sort of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I've got a lot of hot thoughts racing through my head.
And it's really important to note too, we haven't planned this discussion at the slightest. We just wanted to get raw and personal with it and see where it sort of led. Because you can't really plan a conversation like this because, I knew getting into it was going to get personal because it's something that I wanted to talk about because I was hoping it might kickstart me. And there's been a bit of discussion about it around Interims and around other content creators in general, is that whole motivation thing. So it seemed timely.
My motivation really, really has been killed because of work. And it's just being so tired that I just can't bring myself to get. I went a whole week with not even getting on the computer, pretty much, and but the motivation's still there. But I don't know where this train of thought is going.
Let it go. It's that sort of podcast today. Just let the trains go.
But I am still in the mindset of I'm doing this for fun. So I like to talk about the analytics. I guess what I'm trying to say is when it comes to these podcasts, the motivation for these podcasts is really still very strong. Where I'm trying to stay active in the socials and the podcast networks, trying to reach out. We'd like to get people on this podcast, interview them. We're in talks of being interviewed by another podcast. So that motivates me. And then, every once in a while, Keegers I call him our podcast manager. I mean, that's what he is. He's our podcast manager. Anyway, he gives us analytics of what's going on with the podcasts across the podcast networks, I guess you would call them. And it's really kind of blowing my mind with Minecraft Lab. He said that, on the daily, we're getting listeners. And I'm like, really? So that in itself is motivating.
And it's not a small number anymore either. It's growing. And you're right. It's motivating because the analytics are going this way. And that's sort of my point, is when you see the videos start to do this and you go, oh, yeah, then all of a sudden the algorithm just goes, now you're done. It kills you. It absolutely kills you.
Right. That's the mindset I don't, kind of scares me, really. If I'm being honest, the mindset of the full-time content creator, because I hear him talk about it and feeling pressure and stress of constantly having to come up with the next big thing or stay motivated to constantly pumping out the content, because if you don't, the algorithm will beat you down.
Well, that's another point. Sorry, that's another point and I just want to interject there. That's another point actually with it. Like you look at what gets the views and it's, I built this big mega thing in 100 days, or it's, I survived this world for 100 days. 100 days is a big chunk of time to play Minecraft. Really.
30-something hours.
Yeah.
30-something hours.
Then you got to cut that 30-something hours into a watchable chunk of video and edit it. Mm-hmm. That's massive. When you got a full-time job, how do you do that without an editor? How do you, like, that's massive. So to compete in what is trending itself, and you think about what is trending, bloody hell, how do you do that? You see what they've built in hardcore, and you don't know if they've cheated themselves back into the game or what. You don't know. You got to raise your eye sometimes. To compete on that front is extremely hard. And then if you just concentrate then on your live streaming, unless you're doing long hour streams, 4 or 5 hours, growth is really slow. And not all of us have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours every second day to devote to streaming. So it's definitely skewed to those that have, you know, the more time or the full-timers, and, you know, and probably rightly so, you could argue. But when you want to try and compete and try and get that growth, you can have the opposite effect on your head, and your mindset.
Right. This might be another whole other podcast. I hear a lot of these people that they're, you know, seeing growth, but they're early on in their lives, and some I students, you know. So like you said, they have the time, and I'm old. I know I can't keep up with the youngins. My time is precious. The time that I have to spend with family after work, things like that. I still want to do content creation. I still want to do these podcasts. Do I have to change my mindset if I want to see the growth? Do I have to motivate myself to, you know, push beyond the need for sleep or anything like that?
Sleep is for the weak, Miner. Sleep is for the weak.
I guess I would have to be really, 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 with an extra really, excited about something to sacrifice, you know, sleep and those things that I'm enjoying right now.
Yeah, sleep is good.
I don't know. I'm just being totally honest with you people. The life of a full-time content creator, it kind of scares me.
The thing is, right?
I do want. I look at it as a learning experience. Doing content. My dream is to own my own business, selling coffee, and I know that I'll have to advertise. So the lessons that I learn here in content creation, I think I can apply those things. So that would be my full-time job, but I would try to take care of the advertising as well.
And I think you're right when you touched on the mindset change if you were to go full-time as a content creator, because suddenly it goes away from, you can no longer use the avenue of motivation of just do it for the fun of it, because it then becomes your business and your source of income. So you can't use that.
Exactly.
So that changes your whole mindset as well. And you're right, you know, you've got to stay at the forefront. You know, the hermits that take the extended breaks, they're fortunate enough that their content will come up there. Like there's one of B-Dub's videos with his daughter from 5 years ago that's still recommended on my watch list. I've never watched it, but it comes up all the time because they've got the bigger creators have got that. The newer ones that are coming through, let's just use Spadetti as an example. Now, I don't know any specifics there and I haven't spoken to them for a little while. There's an extended break and videos coming out there. I believe there's life and whatnot in the way. It'd be interesting to know what impact on the views and growth has actually happened there now that they've stopped putting videos out on the regular basis, because they don't have those millions of followers that will watch anything that pops up on recommended, you know, and those like the Greens and the Mumbos and all that, they can go on there, like Mumbo took how many months off and probably didn't miss a bean in income because 10 million subscribers there. Right. So, you know, taking the risk to punt to go full time on content creation, my hat goes off to anyone that gives it a go. It's tricky minefield just from a mental health perspective. It's a mental minefield that you have to walk through on many facets. And you're then taking a hobby that you enjoy and gives you enjoyment, hanging it into a business, which you can argue if you enjoy what you do for a living, then you never work a day in your life. It is a very true saying. But then you're also taking something that you enjoy and putting added pressure and stress on it. And if it doesn't work, what then?
Right.
So, not that I'm saying in any facet am I even remotely close to even considering going full-time at this game, because I don't think that'll ever happen. I don't think I'll ever crack that. And that's fine. That's not the problem. And I'm not sitting here saying, I don't understand why my videos don't work, why they tank up time. I get it from the algorithm's point of view, because I've studied enough to know, okay, it hasn't done X, Y, Z on the algorithm, so that's why it's stopped. Despite the fact it's getting decent watch time and it's getting subscribers by the bucket loads, it's not hitting what it has to do. And that's a me thing that I have to get better with the video editing and the video making. So I understand that. And I'm not whinging, I'm not complaining about that's what's happening, because that's a learning process. And I haven't cracked that thing yet. What I'm saying is, and I guess what I'm just expressing off the cuff and being very raw in this episode today, is it's demotivating to an extent when it doesn't, when that effort you put in, it didn't work, and and how do you bring yourself up? I guess that's the question, is how do you bring yourself back up to keep popping it off? The podcasts for me have never been a problem. I enjoy it. I love it. It's great fun. And even when, you'd put the in season 1, we didn't see that much growth behind the scenes, and you would get 10 listens and probably half of them were you, but it was still motivating. It was still fun to do. It was still good fun, and you kept persevering with it. Now we're well into triple figures of downloads. And as you said, there's at least 15 listens a day across our season 2 stuff, which blows my mind. And, there's people there actively saying, hey, Alexa, hey, Siri, hey, Google, play my Siri. Whoops.
I wonder how many listeners got activated.
Yeah, sorry for turning you on, listeners. But yeah, there's people actively saying, hey, listen, play Minecraft Lab podcast. You can see that in the analytics. People are actually doing that. And that blows my mind. Yes, it's motivating, but the podcast, I don't know. I've always enjoyed it. And that's why, we're working on other ones that aren't even Minecraft related now too. Because it's fun. And maybe that's the key. It's fun. So, let's face it, doesn't take as much to edit one of these videos as it does a Minecraft video.
Yeah. You said it to me before. There's not as much effort involved as there is in regular video editing. Granted, you do put these up on YouTube. They don't get the near as much exposure or views that we are getting across podcast platforms. But I
think that's just a YouTube thing. It's not really where people go.
Yeah, that is a YouTube thing.
Yeah, and for me, really putting it up on YouTube is not a focus. It's the podcast platforms that we're focusing on. Your Spotify's, your Acasts, your all of that stuff. The YouTube one's just there because you can. And, if people get something from it and discover it that way, that's great. I don't really even look at the analytics for that. And effort, and saying it's not as much effort is probably not the right way to say it. It's not as much of a time sink, because a bit of effort goes into it. You run it through programs and still edit it. It still takes a good few hours to put together. We don't just record and whack up what we've recorded. So there's still effort goes into it. It's just not as big a time sink as making a video.
Right.
Yeah. The reason I wanted to speak about this today was because I'm going through it at the moment. And I know there's been, a few on Interrealms that have reached out to me for a chat, or I reached out to them and had a chat, and it's been similar. And I guess you guys that might be listening to this, you're not alone with the whole motivation thing. And this is just generally in life, I guess, is you're not alone. There's other people out there that are going through the same thing as you. So reach out, have a chat. You never know. It might prompt you. Something might flick, that spark that mine I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It might spark something in you to go forth and give it another crack, or just get back into it. I think for me, I just have to get back to the routine in terms of the streaming.
Right.
I just have to do it. And I guess the advice that I gave to this one person was, you just have to show up. And that's what we said in the previous one when we did burnout. You just have to show up. If you want to do it, you just got to do it. You force yourself to do it.
Right.
And And I guess the advice that was given back to me by someone this morning was just do it for the fun and try to remember the fun of it.
And
Done, but it's good advice.
yeah, what I want to say about this whole thing is, don't stay, alone. Don't seclude yourself when you're feeling demotivated. Don't, reach out to your community, your core community people, your friends, server mates, people in Discord, the regulars that show up when you show up. Those people will keep you motivated. I really feel that, and that's why I love the regulars that show up in the streams, that just want to hang out on the server. Those times where we're just chatting, and we're just working away on the server. And those times, community, as friends, wherever, if it's on a server, if it's in a Discord, if it's on social media, the people that will comment on your posts, those regulars, those people motivate me.
It's true. And that's we've said this a few times over a couple of podcasts is, going it alone or being a part of a community like Interrealms, being on an SMP or in a group like us does not guarantee you that you're going to crack it and you're going to get hundreds of views. And you're not even going to be guaranteed that the other people on your server in the group are even going to show up to your streams or watch your videos. You can't be guaranteed of that at all. What you can be guaranteed of, though, is the friendship and the playing together and stuff like that. That's what you can be guaranteed. And you're right, and I think about it is the people that I reached out to recently, because I could see that they got so much potential. They weren't making videos or streaming or anything, but they've got so much potential. So you'd reach out and say, is there anything I can do? When I think about it now, those conversations was inspiring me to give it back in, not to set an example, I guess, because I'm not a father figure, I hope. It's hard to describe. It was motivating me to get back on there to show, well, actually, I'm feeling the exact same thing as you. This is how you get back into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to still pick myself up off the floor to do that, and working on it. It's hard. It's just hard, the stuff that goes through your head as a small content creator with a full-time job outside of content creation. And I totally get it. Get it.
Yeah, it's those, we've mentioned it before in this episode that burnout and motivation kind of go hand in hand. You're dealing with one or the other, whether it's burnout from trying to create content or just deal with life and, trying to find that motivation. So I guess the answer is just show up, and if you do, others will.
That's it.
Even if it's just one.
And that's actually a really good point. Sometimes people say, oh, yeah, but no one was on the server. It's like, well, if you are on the server, people will come. Inactivity perpetuates inactivity. And then even within yourself. So just in the habit of just being on there, just getting on there. It sucks, being an Australian because, although there's some more Aussies on the server now, the times don't really match up with a lot of others from overseas. So, we get this for years, I was the only Aussie in this time zone. It was good when you were on nights because you were in my time zone technically. So, it can be hard when you bring an Australian onto the server, into the group, because they go, the comment was made last night, I was on the server for hours and no one else was. Yes, but everyone else was asleep. I was at work. So, that is what it is. But it's still that within that group is being part of that group, being part of something bigger. And you're right, you've just got to show up. You show up and eventually that will spread through the others and, inspire other people. So, I think this chat today has actually helped me to get my head back aligned. And I hope if you're listening to this and you're in a similar situation and you're feeling the same thing, hopefully it's helped you as well. But what I would really like to see is if you are demotivated or you're feeling down or you're feeling burnt out, particularly with content creation, but even in general, shoot us an email. Comment below if you're listening on the Tube of the U variety. Reach out. I'd love to hear thoughts on this. what are some strategies that I personally can use that may work for you to get yourself back in that mindset, or to stop yourself from thinking and comparing yourself to other content creators that are accelerating quicker than you? What's some strategies that you use? Even if you just want to say, just show up, just send that through. I'd love to hear it.
And our email is minecraftlabpodcast@gmail.com. Or you could reach out to us on the Twitterverse, the Xverse, whatever you want to call it, at mclab_podcast. That's where you can find us over on X.
Or you can even find us over on our Discord. If you go to interrealmssmp.com and click on connect, you can find out how to connect with us in all variety of different ways.
Well, it's been it's been a tough discussion. Because there's no, we've talked about ways to get motivated, but it's still something I think we'll all struggle with. But at the end of the day, I think really what will help us get through it is each other, our communities, just not trying to do it alone.
That's very beautifully said. That was very deep, man. True. And that's probably a good way to see it out, because you're 100% right. And if you're trying to do the content thing alone, find a group, find like-minded individuals. You don't have to do it alone. And if you are struggling, and if it's having impacts on you on a much deeper level that you are feeling along the lines of depression over it, there's people out there too that you can talk to. If you don't feel comfortable speaking to your friends or family about this sort of thing, that's fine. Seek some help. There's, I don't know what, over here in Australia, you got Beyond Blue, you got Lifeline, you got all those sort of things. Just reach out. They're free phone calls. I'm sure there's stuff in other countries too. I don't know them all, obviously, because I only live in Australia. But reach out. There's no need to go through it alone. And my recommendation from a content sphere is find a group. Interrealms will welcome you. But, find a group where you feel that you fit. And as Mina said, don't do it alone.
I just want to say before we sign off that I appreciate all you listeners that have been tuning into these podcasts. You're just blowing us away with just listening. It's wild because, wow, it motivates me. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Of course, I'm going to get back to finding ways to blow myself up like I did in the live stream last week. And of course, you know what the Troj is going to do.
He's going to get onto the Interrealm server and play with some wood, literally.
Exactly.
Because I'm motivated now to go and do some stuff. So, yeah.
So we will see you in the next one.
Thanks for listening. Talk soon. La 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 la. Get my wood out of your mind and start.
No, I've got it's got to be wood centric.
Welcome to my whole existence.
There has to be wood in the intro. There has to be. It's a thing now. I hope you're recording this.
I'm recording. I've been recording since the movie started.